Look, you mentioned Charles' name there. I did want to ask you about the relationship with him. You seem to have rubbed along pretty well. It's not quite Carlando, though. Would you agree?
I think it's different. I think Carlando never fought for wins and never fought for podiums, and Carlando was not in a Ferrari atmosphere. It was in a McLaren atmosphere, which is relatively different. With Charles, I can tell you, outside of the track, we get on genuinely really well, and we have a lot of fun, really good conversations. We talked about, I think, any subject you can ever imagine by now, with all the time we spend away from the track together. On track, we've had our differences, we've had our rivalries, we've had our great weekends, our tougher weekends. We've always managed to keep it clean between us, and we've always managed to keep the car without any scratch from the other Ferrari car, and for two drivers that for 4 years in a row, every single weekend, have shared the same piece of tarmac, because we've always qualified within a tenth of each other. We've always done every start within a position or two from each other, with every pit stop, every single lap close to each other for 4 years in a row, to manage to keep it as clean as we've kept it and as relatively easygoing as we've kept it. I think there's a merit to that, because it's not easy. We're both very competitive. We are both rivals, and 4 years, it's a lot of races. I'm calculating more or less almost 100 races sharing the same piece of tarmac, and it's not easy. I don't think as many drivers have gone for so long, so close to each other without any issues.
It seems very intense between you. Just think back to the sprint race in China. I'm thinking of Austin. I'm even thinking of Las Vegas last weekend, actually. I mean, have you guys moved on from that one? Okay.
Yes, and we will. We will move on. We always have, and we will always put our differences aside for the benefit of Ferrari, and because there's something bigger than each other that is Ferrari. It's always been tough. I know I've sometimes done things wrong, and I've apologized. He knows he's sometimes done things wrong, and he's apologized. We always find kind of a middle ground to move on. And I think radios don't help, makes things bigger than what it looks then when we go back and we sit down with each other and we, let's say, digest together what has happened, because the radio is very intense. The radio is something that from home and for the media is very sassy. You get all the intensity of the driver, of the how, sorry for the word, how pissed off we are at the time and how angry we are. But then once that level of adrenaline comes down and when we are behind closed doors, things are a lot less heated than what you guys can imagine. And we manage to put things aside and move on.
Do you understand why Charles was so upset after Vegas? I'm thinking of his radio message on the slowdown lap.
I understand the level of anger. I've been as angry as that many, many times before, and I can assure you I've also been in that position. I just try not to vocalize it as much in the radio, and it's something that we've both really put it as a target to say, look, I know many times you just hate me, and many times and we laugh about it. There's times that you hate me, there's times that I hate you, but we need to move on from that, and let's try and not use the radio. I think, obviously, Charles, in that sense, in Las Vegas, couldn't control himself so much, but at the same time, I understand it. I am able to also move on from that. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to look back at the 4 years with Charles, and I'm going to have a good memory, and I'm going to look back and I'm going to say he was a tough competitor, sometimes very vocal in the radio, but very tough competitor that I enjoyed every single battle with him, and I enjoyed being his teammate. And I'm incredibly happy to have shared those 4 years with him, because I've become a better driver thanks to him. He's become probably a better driver thanks to me. And we're just, we had a lot of fun together, and we had tough, fierce competition, but always clean and always within the limits that a team would like to have.